A glittering jewel in the desert, Lake Havasu. A man-made oasis. Miles of shimmering, life-giving water. Lake Havasu has long been a magnet for a huge number of boaters. As strange as it may seem, the Arizona desert has one of the highest number of boat owners in the nation. The Lake Havasu Marine Association is proud of its ongoing mission to provide a clean, safe lake and a positive experience for local residents and visitors alike. In 2008, Executive Director Jim Salscheider sparked the association's list of accomplishments with a determination to clean up the lake. With dwindling resources, local, state, and federal governments and departments watched helplessly as our beaches and waterways became trash dumps. The association rallied the community, first with a massive beach cleanup project. An armada of boats and volunteers attacked the problem, removing tons of garbage and trash. Next, the Pack It In, Pack It Out program installed more than 70 trash bag dispensing posts on beaches on both sides of the lake. Romer Beverage and the Chemehuevi tribe spearheaded the effort and, along with other sponsors, graciously donated the money to buy tens of thousands of trash bags. The result, pristine, trash-free beaches for thousands to enjoy. That done, Jim, the association, and a growing number of eager volunteers turned their attention to the Windsor Beach State Park launch ramps, specifically the docks. Again, tight budgets prevented a solution to a dangerous situation. Docks on both north and south ramps were literally falling apart. The Marine Association went to work with Romer Beverage to raise the money to replace them. A series of beer and brats parties raised more than $17,000. Arizona Game and Fish provided matching grants, and the docks were replaced with new, safe, and efficient structures. Many of those same volunteers signed up to provide launch assistance to thousands of boaters, directing launch and retrieve traffic over 2 long, hot summers and beyond. In 2009, a mysterious virus began killing carp in the lake. The Marine Association rallied the troops again, assisting the Chemehuevi tribe and the Lake Havasu City Parks Department. Tons of dead fish were removed from beaches, the channel, and open waterways. Dangerous shoals and shallow areas prompted the association to place dozens of safety buoys around the lake. Boaters now have fair warning of dangerous waters because of the association's dedication to safety. Next up, the Lake Havasu Marine Association is teaming up with local companies and agencies to help make boating on the lake safer with the Designated Operator program. Like the Designated Driver campaign we're familiar with, the Designated Operator is an alcohol-free driver for your boat.
Well, the whole idea is for law enforcement and the restaurants to identify designated operators, sober drivers, thank them and reward them and give them a wristband. So, for example, Havasu Springs, the Nautical is Pirates Cove. So those are the 3 waterfront restaurants with slips and beaches you can pull up and have lunch, brunch, etc. Now, one of the benefits of the wristband is these 3 restaurants will give you free soft drinks if you patronize their place. And again, that's recognition. And law enforcement will thank people or thank the designated operator. But we're trying to make this as a positive program. We want people to be responsible. And it's fine for large families and large groups to come out here and go boating. And we have a safe lake, we're going to make it safer, and designated operator is going to help make it safer.
That brings us to the association's latest project. The transition from the lake to the river is over 3 miles wide. As you see, it is very shallow, and finding a safe channel is very difficult, sometimes impossible. Creating a safe passage through this area would be a step up in safety for this area. Locals know that over the decades, the river mouth has silted over. Oftentimes, the depth of the water is less than a foot. First-time visitors often run full speed into ankle-deep water. Luckily, the bottom is very soft and forgiving. Prop and outdrive damage is common, but there have been injuries. In 2010, a near catastrophe occurred when a boat traveling at an estimated 60 miles an hour slammed into the sand, spun 90 degrees, and ejected 2 people. Both suffered minor injuries. The boat sunk in that very shallow water. It was a lucky outcome for all. So the Marine Association decided to deal with the problem. Over more than a year, the job of obtaining permission to dredge a safe navigation channel between lake and river was undertaken. Jim Salscheider conferred with Stanford-educated biologist Jill Himes on the environmental and permitting challenges involved. Her 18 years of experience in lake and river projects proved to be invaluable. Himes proposed the association rally key agencies and organizations to the cause. Letters of support from the association's partner, the Chemehuevi Tribe, enforcement agencies like the county sheriffs, and other local and state agencies. Himes then approached the primary federal agencies, Army Corps of Engineers, the Bureau of Reclamation, U.S. Federal Wildlife and Refuge Management, and 2 California agencies. By December 5th, nearly 6 months later, the necessary permits for the work had been approved. A 1/2 mile long, 50-foot wide channel was approved. Removing bottom sand was impossibly expensive. So Craig Reynolds of Apex Marine suggested a drag dredge be used to dislodge and allow the bottom material to be pushed downstream by current flow. This is the Apocalypse, captained by Ken Slota.
I've had this boat since 1985. This is a combat support vessel. What it's used for mostly is building tank bridges. What it is a floating power plant. It has 3,500 pounds of thrust per engine at the pumps. It has turbines actually for pumps. They're not actually pumps, they're turbines. And this boat is capable of great horsepower. It's just a floating tugboat. It's a military tug is what it is.
The Apocalypse went to work, dragging a 2,000-pound beam along the bottom of the channel path. Low water and slow current made the work even more difficult. It simply wasn't going downstream, moving a few feet before settling back to the bottom. Captain Ken and his assistant spent the better part of a month carving out what, at normal water levels, would eventually become a 5-foot deep, safe navigation channel along the California side of the lake. Original plans called for up to 18 buoys to mark the path for boaters. But in the end, 24 buoys were necessary to properly mark the way. As in an earlier project to mark low and dangerous areas, the association buoy crew went to work, building, marking, and placing the channel markers. Dan Herron, Bill Mackey, and Gary Young worked endless hours creating a safe passage. Ron Buchholz coordinated the process with Coast Guard buoy specialist Michael Tapp.
The Lake Havasu Marine Association approached the Coast Guard about 3 years ago with the intention of adding different buoys to the lake that would mark known hazards and shoal areas, which we helped guide them through the permit process on. It involved the cooperation of several federal agencies as well as local and state agencies to make that happen. The last series of which was the addition of the same types of buoys into a channel that was recently dredged by the Marine Association, which would deepen an area that allowed vessel traffic to transit between Lake Havasu and the Colorado River. It's been a great relationship. We've been able to coordinate together to, again, help guide them through the permitting process by the Coast Guard as well as other agencies. It really involved a lot of cooperation from every entity involved, and we were able to successfully do it, and as a result, those hazards are now marked on Lake Havasu.
They were inspected, and the final channel path and buoy placement were approved and received the Coast Guard's blessing on the project.
The dredging of the channel at the mouth of the river was a substantial undertaking by a small nonprofit like the Lake Havasu Marine Association. It was only accomplished with the support of the Chemehuevi Tribe, the various federal and state agencies with responsibilities on the lake, and our local law enforcement. And of course, our environmental consultant, Jill Himes. What is the significance of this channel? Well, first, it creates a safe path for recreational boaters to make the transition from lake to river and vice versa. Second, because the lake levels can vary by as much as 4 feet, finding a path through this vast sandbar can be challenging. The channel also creates a safe way to visit Pirates Cove and soon to open Topak 66. From the Needles Bridge to the Bill Williams River is nearly 60 miles of the best cruising in the West. From another perspective, this is possibly the first major project on the river or lake that was a public-private partnership that encompassed nearly every agency with jurisdiction on the Colorado River and a nonprofit using private funds. Going forward, we believe all projects that enhance safety and the health of the Colorado River are now possible.